till I reach the top somehow.
Benefit option replaces the alternative investment.
I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. till we reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till we reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, it's time for me to bid you greetings wherever you are in the world, because we are on the World Wide Web, and it's time for me to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis. And I say good night to the world. I can say good night to the entire Caribbean region. And we are all over the world, like I said, and I can reach you in the Kittitian, Nevisian, and the Caribbean diaspora, my Straight Talk family, wherever you are, and I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. And I must apologize for what maybe my tardy start. I was live and I was not even aware of it. I was here waiting, but forgive me, my Straight Talk family. That's how technology works sometimes. But my Straight Talk family, I want to thank all of you who continue to keep in touch. Many of you who continue to share the link. And because of your sharing of the link, we do have first-timers. And I must tell the first-timers that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try also to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And I want to inform, especially the first-timers, that on this program, we lean on the side of the facts, or we lean on the facts. We don't fabricate, we don't get sensational. We just give you the plain truth. What I normally say, we give you the unvarnished truth. And that's my pledge. And I know it's a program where we also include your calls, we include your emails. We do have our diverse views, and that's what we welcome, because we are a different people. And my Straight Talk family, that's fine. But please do not let us become disagreeable. Once we start to become disagreeable, then we are in trouble. I know in St. Kitts and Nevis in particular, the way things have continued to be heated up, I must say, we wonder when we will be able to just settle down. But we do have some people in office. I've heard that some 5 of them are overseas. And that's, you wonder what's happening. No matter how the country cries out, no matter the criticism, they just continue with their frequent travels, my Straight Talk family. But let's not get sidetracked. But as your host, like I said, I pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I'm always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine. And like this excerpt, we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, and bringing evil things to light. Let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all know the blessing of the doing of God's will. And my Straight Talk family, as I said, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We don't try to make it more interesting, neither by omission nor exaggeration. We give you the facts. And that's my bounden duty. And through this program, we are joined all over the world. We are joined throughout the Federation and with people in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know very well and have met. Others we do not know, and many we will never meet. Some will agree with the positions of truth advanced on Straight Talk, and some will disagree, like I said. And I met some friends, acquaintance from a long time ago. We were talking about the GI Brass and the days in Brooklyn and Toronto. Wow. And I had to tell him how long ago that was. My Straight Talk family. In the meantime, let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let's welcome you again, and thanks for those who share the link. And for those of you who have Alexa as well, you know you can access Straight Talk via Massive Vibes Radio. This is a paid broadcast. Again, it's an access we give you via our email platform. Later we include your calls and your emails. And I must say a special welcome to my junior brigade. How can I forget that? Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Young Rue, Costa, Travis and Trevon, and yes, my special lady. And my first observation, I'll be brief with my observations because we really want to get into our thesis, which I have titled, No Prime Minister Was Ever Left Standing. And my first observation, I asked the question, who is Maureen Weber? You understand she is attached to the Elevate program. We are still trying to confirm, but we understand as well that she has been contracted for some $95,000 for consultation on the Elevate program. We are trying to establish the duration of her contract and the terms of reference and the exact remuneration as part of the contract. But this political consultant to Dr. Drew, we understand, has been given a payday, $95,000. Could you imagine that? To do what? We ask. But we are following that story and we'll keep you abreast. We also are aware that the snake Mark Brantley over there in Nevis has in fact increased the salaries of parliamentarians in Nevis by some 15%. Wow. 15%. And what can we say? They are all for self and none for thee. That's their mentality. The mentality of these leaders in the country. No respect for the people, all for themselves. They haven't found a way to find jobs for people, find a way to help people to cope with the continuing rising costs of living, cost of food. But their payday will come, I'm sure, my Straight Talk family. We also, as an observation, are asking questions about the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. Dr. July announced very early in his term that they have embarked upon the construction of the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. Yes, they did, my Straight Talk family. I remember he said this, and it should have been completed by September 2022. We're going on to September 2024, and this project has not been completed.
It's under construction, and we're hoping, really pushing to see if we can complete it by September 16th. I know that's a lofty goal, but we are really pushing. If not, definitely we want to complete it by this year. We expect it to cost in the region of maybe about $4 million. Construction is going on, and to about maybe $4 million grand total at the end of the day.
And we are told, we are reliably informed, and July has never questioned this, that cost ballooned to $8 million. And look at that building, my Straight Talk family. The billboard has been taken down. Nothing is happening. A complete halt. But what in that building so far would have costed $8 million? And these are the things that are happening in this country. And you hear them talk about transparency and good governance, but not a word is said about the cessation of works, the stoppage of construction at this site, the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. But $8 million have come from the Treasury. Dr. July, give an account. That's all we ask in my Straight Talk family. And these are my observations in review, very short observations, but I thought I would bring them to your attention so that we can keep these people honest, my Straight Talk family. And I move right into my thesis tonight, which I said I have titled, No Prime Minister was ever left standing here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And my Straight Talk family, there are many lessons to be learned from history. But too many of us in St. Kitts and Nevis take everything for granted. Many leaders take the risk to make uninformed judgments and decisions about the current events, all because they ignore historical knowledge. When we look at what is happening in our country right now, and heading fast to 2 years of this maladministration under the July as Prime Minister. Yet July has failed to underscore the importance of learning from history's mistakes, and will be well advised to become familiar with the old adage, to wit, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. In the political history of St. Kitts Nevis, there is a striking feature, my straight talk family. There is a striking feature in that no prime minister has ever been left standing in office after a fallout between key members of the cabinet of ministers. And as we do some reflection tonight, my straight talk family, you will glean from the information provided, hopefully, that every prime minister who has held office in this country has been subject to electoral defeat because of certain political circumstances. And this unique aspect of the political landscape of St. Kitts Nevis highlights the dynamic and often unpredictable nature of our political environment. Yes, it highlights the unpredictable nature, as I said, of our political environment. The political past in St. Kitts Nevis is well documented. And our current leader, Dr. July, would be better off if he examined the tenure of the prime ministership since independence 40 years ago. From Kennedy Simmons in 1983 to his predecessor, Timothy Harris, in 2022. And once he would have examined the political history, he would glean from same that no prime minister was ever left standing, as I said. Our first prime minister, Simmons, had issues with his deputy prime minister, Michael Oliver Powell, in 1993, recall, which led to his demise. And until this day, Simmons has never told the Federation why he fired Powell. And Powell insisted then that he owes the people an apology.
Look at the contempt by which the Prime Minister of this country have treated the citizens of this country. Let us start with the contempt for the people of the East Bastia constituency. You elected a representative, put him in the cabinet to represent you. A man decides to take your representative and throw him in the street. And after a year, he has not come to you to tell you why he threw out your representative. But wait a minute now. What are you supposed to be? Dog? Cat? Goat? Sheep? Cattle? What are you supposed to be? I am saying that the people of East Bastia do not deserve to be treated like animals. And Simmons owes an apology to the people of East Bastia. He owes an apology to the people of the whole Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And my straight talk family, there is still common speculation that the founder and legal advisor to PAM, Billy Herbert, was behind the move to fire Powell. And Powell raised that as a matter of concern.
Billy ain't got no secret holding for me. It's the other way around. Brothers and sisters, I am going to give my friend Billy some friendly advice tonight. Billy. I am giving you some friendly advice tonight. Billy, we were friends in 1965. We were good friends in 1966. We were very, very, very good friends in 67, Billy. We were very, very good friends in 67, Billy.
And my Straight Talk family, at the end of this long story was an heroic achievement for Powell, as he made certain that Prime Minister Simmons was not left standing. Coincidentally, when one examines the current dynamics within the Jew-like cabinet, if there is any similarity 40 years after, it is a widespread speculation that the chief advisor to the incumbent Prime Minister, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, is stabbing the second Prime Minister and Senior Minister Douglas in his back. And the comrades have asked me to send a message to Douglas. Watch your back, doggy, is a warning out there coming from your many comrades. But as the second Prime Minister, though, Douglas, who served for an extensive period until the power of incumbency seemed to have changed everything for him. Douglas then faced a motion of no confidence in his administration, filed by the leader of the opposition. Imagine, it's the same leader we have today in the opposition. But for 2 years, the wimpy speaker named Curtis Martin failed to entertain the motion. Curtis Martin failed to entertain the motion of no confidence. And Martin, my Straight Talk family, left a terrible legacy. That's Curtis Wimpy Martin, as he's known, left a terrible legacy of making our parliament into a useless instrument. Yes, my Straight Talk family, Curtis Wimpy Martin left our parliament, or left a legacy of making our parliament into a useless instrument. Yes, he did, according to former Eastern Caribbean Chief Justice Brian Alene. He said this.
It's setting a very bad precedent for governance, and it's really making Parliament a useless instrument. I think that's terrible.
And my Straight Talk family, Douglas fired Tim Harris from his cabinet and later had great difficulty accepting the resignation of his deputy Sam Condor. But back then it all seemed irreparable when Sam had cast serious aspersions on the leadership of Douglas because of the rampant and violent crime that infested the Federation back then. Sam Condor had publicly condemned his leader Douglas and declared him to be reprehensible, wrong, and or evil. For this, Sam will never regain the lost respect of the rank and file of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party until he explains this bizarre statement he made about Denzil Douglas, his leader of nigh 25 years. before he made this proposition.
What I could say to Douglas is that I know that the Jambo had given him money, he had loaned him money, and he had invested. And just before Zambo died, there was a meeting between Halva, myself, and Zambo about how he could recover his monies that he invested in the property and his property and so on. And Halva was supposed to organize a meeting with Zambo and Douglas to make those arrangements. I think those meetings were organized, but shortly after that, Zambo died, shot to death.
And my straight dog family, after all the maneuvering inside and outside the parliament and the court, come February 2015, Prime Minister Denzel Douglas was not left standing. 7 years later, and after the sterling performance of a team unity government, the 5 years of this government will go down in history as the most successful first term ever of any administration since adult suffrage in 1952. Contrary to what some in our midst would try to say. But Sean Richards, perhaps overwhelmed by the COVID-19 lockdown, wanted his leader, Timothy Harris, to pervert the course of justice in the Federation and instruct the Commissioner of Police, Hilroy Brandy, to do what, you may ask? Sean wanted his Prime Minister to interfere with the operations of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and instruct the police to remove his name from the report on a COVID-19 protocol breach at the last lap. My straight dog family.
The last thing I was told is that the report has been altered and my name has been removed from the report. I went to cabinet and I complained about it again because I said I was told that my name has been removed from the report. But based on reliable information, my name still included in the police report. And I took a decision there and then that until this matter is cleared up, I am not coming back to any cabinet meeting.
And he was true to his word. Never went back to a cabinet meeting because the then Prime Minister Timothy Harris was not going to interfere with the operations of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. But this coupled suddenly with a call for fair share for Nevis then led to the subsequent filing of a motion of no confidence in their own government. My straight dog family. Deadlines were set by both leaders within the unity administration.
As you may be aware, the deadline that was given to the Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, has come and gone. It was a deadline established for midnight, 20th April 2022. The purpose of that deadline was to adequately respond to critical issues of governance that have been eroding the fabric of our democracy and the functioning of the administration. There were both reasonable and necessary changes that were needed if we were to reconcile the vast differences that, if left unchecked, could cause great harm to our people in the short and long term. Unfortunately, despite the patriotic efforts of both the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement and the People's Action Movement to restore stability and continuity in the team unity government, the Prime Minister continued to refuse to agree to seriously discuss and resolve the issues of contention. Today,
And my straight dog family, then came a call for resolution or dissolution. Yes, a call came from the snake for resolution or dissolution.
We have taken the unprecedented step of putting a deadline of Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 for a response from the Prime Minister. We shall therefore know by Wednesday whether we can achieve resolution or whether we face dissolution.
And my Straight Talk family, Timothy Harris was resolute. He fired 6 members of his cabinet as the rift became wider and serious disagreement separated 2 parties from the other party of the tripartite coalition called Team Unity. By the 6th of August 2022, Prime Minister Harris was not left standing. With just under 2 years of this July administration, the current political scene in St. Kitts Nevis is highly explosive. This administration is like an active volcano just waiting for a political explosion. Emotions are running high, and the situation in which we find ourselves is one in which strong feelings are loudly expressed by the thousands who are being kicked off of the poverty alleviation program, my Straight Talk family. Thousands.
We paid 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid. I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair.
And my Straight Talk family, as we speak, those of that 40% that were kicked off were never brought back onto PAP. And now we understand that over 50% of the 60% that were left on the PAP are now kicked off. That's why there's the grumbling and mumbling in St. Kitts and Nevis. That's why so many people are uneasy, can't afford to cope with the high cost of living. My Straight Talk family, recall as well the 2,400 houses that were announced by NHC and the East Coast Housing Development. We asked ourselves if these houses are being built in the hills, because they must be hidden someplace, as we cannot find the 600 houses that should have been built each year, according to the slow student who told the country this, my Straight Talk family.
Has signed a contract with East Coast Housing Development, a Trinidadian-based developer, to finance and deliver 2,400 affordable smart homes over a period of 4 years, 600 of which will be made available each year. EC's $600 million has been sourced by this developer to fund the project, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through NHC, will facilitate the development and be the point of access for the citizens who are interested in procuring a smart home.
I'll play that back because I believe that my volume is down, but just in the event you missed the first part, I'll play that back.
As a government, we believe that it is critically important for our citizens and residents to become home owners, and as such has made it a top priority to create affordable housing solutions that will meet the ever-growing housing demand. Today, as the Minister responsible for housing and human settlement, I am pleased to formally announce that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and National Housing Corporation (NHC) has signed a contract with East Coast Housing Development, a Trinidadian-based developer, to finance and deliver 2,400 affordable smart homes over a period of 4 years, 600 of which will be made available each year. EC's $600 million has been sourced by this developer to fund the project, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through NHC, will facilitate the development and be the point of access for the citizens who are interested in procuring a smart home.
My Straight Talk family, more importantly right now, or I should say just as important right now, is the good name of St. Kitts and Nevis, which is being dragged into the mud of corruption all over the world. And those in influential positions don't seem to care about the outcome that the St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla National Bank, for example, they don't seem to care about the outcome it will have to face as a result of the RICO lawsuit filed in a U.S. federal court in Tampa, Florida. And we've heard so much about RICO. It's a law that has been used in the United States in the context of political corruption, corporate fraud, and other complex criminal schemes. It has been applied to cases against corrupt public officials, fraudulent business practices, and large-scale criminal enterprises. In summary, a RICO lawsuit involves legal action against individuals or organizations involved in a pattern of racketeering activity connected to an enterprise with the potential for severe criminal penalties and substantial civil damages. Specific to the National Bank, my Straight Talk family, in summary, a RICO lawsuit against the St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla National Bank could result in substantial financial damages, legal and regulatory consequences, and significant reputational harm, among other potential outcomes. The specific damages will depend on the nature of the racketeering activity proven, if at all it can be, in court, and the extent of the harm suffered by the plaintiff. And the plaintiff in this case, we know by now, is the convicted fraudster who went to a jail in France. We have to say that. The expected outcome for Philippe Martinez, the plaintiff, is to get compensatory damages. But for what? You may ask, as he cannot prove that he had sustained losses because of the racketeering activity he has cited in his claim. So what is there to recover? He has nothing to recover, as he cannot prove financial losses, loss of business opportunities, and other economic harms directly linked to the conduct of the defendants. As simply put, nobody will do business with a convicted fraudster. And would you believe, my Stray Dog family, one of his former employees, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis is facing a significant legal challenge from MSR Media led by Philippe Martinez. But, my Stray Dog family, although the lawsuit alleges misconduct in the country's CBI program and claims about kickbacks, his own problems exist because the convicted fraudster is being sued by one of his former employees who was contracted for services, my Stray Dog family. One Mr. Don Lockman. He's been sued for $795,000, my Stray Dog family, for failing to perform as per contract. That's Philippe Martinez. He has no money, my Stray Dog family. He has no money. So now his own employee is suing him. There's a lawsuit filed in the court here in St. Kitts, my Stray Dog family. So he has nothing to recover. As simply put, nobody will do business with a convicted fraudster. But the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, we must admit, is facing a significant legal challenge as the lawsuit alleges misconduct in the CBI. The allegations speak to kickbacks and fraudulent passport applications linked to the CBI. Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, we understand through the grapevine, wants to settle the lawsuit out of court. And yes, this could be both advantageous or disadvantageous for the government. On the one hand, an out-of-court settlement might help to avoid a prolonged and highly publicized legal battle, which could potentially further damage the country's international reputation and investor confidence, my Stray Dog family. But if July thinks that he can call in and cancel all certificates of citizenships or all passports granted to the main applicants and their dependents who purchase under the alternative investment option granted to Caribbean Galaxy in connection with the prison project, and this is the relief being sought by Philippe Martinez, this international fraudster, through an order of mandamus or such further or other relief that the court may suggest. And if July thinks he can call in or cancel them, he's perhaps living in a different world, my Stray Dog family. Calling in or cancellation of passports will not only shatter investor confidence, but it would destroy the international reputation of St. Kitts Nevis and the entire economy. Or I should say, it would further destroy. It's already been destroyed under Dr. July. Settling out of court might also allow the government to focus on ongoing reforms it talks about and governance without the distraction of a legal proceeding. But on the other hand, settling out of court could be seen as an admission of guilt or responsibility, potentially undermining public trust in the government. It might also prevent a full investigation and accountability for any wrongdoing, which is important for restoring and maintaining public trust. So there is complexity, my Stray Dog family. And given that complexity and the high stakes involved, the government needs to weigh these considerations carefully. Ensuring transparency and public communication about any decision made will be crucial in maintaining both domestic and international confidence. But there's no transparency, my straight dog family. And in closing, though, I must make mention of one missing link in all of this. There's one missing link in all of this. And my straight dog family, it is the St. Kitts Investment Promotion Agency, which plays a crucial role in the economic development of St. Kitts and Nevis, but more so St. Kitts, because Nevis has its own promotion agency, NIPA, Nevis Investment Promotion Agency. Remember I told you about that lady who was the contact for the French criminal that was deported from Barbados and came directly to Nevis. But Skipper's primary functions include attracting investment, facilitating investment. Skipper works with the government to create a favorable investment climate by advocating for policies and reforms that enhance the ease of doing business in St. Kitts. Skipper also promotes investment opportunities, specific investment projects and opportunities within St. Kitts, showcasing them to potential investors through various channels such as investment fora, trade shows, and promotional materials. Economic development is critical, and they attract and facilitate investment. And Skipper contributes to the overall growth and development of St. Kitts, my straight dog family. So overall, Skipper is a key player in driving the economic process or progress of St. Kitts by fostering a conducive environment for investment and ensuring that investors receive the support they need to succeed. So, why is Skipper missing in all this discussion? Because it is Skipper. It is the St. Kitts Investment Promotion Agency that prepares every cabinet submission with a recommendation for approval. And I ask myself, my straight dog family, in all this discussion, why would Skipper recommend this amount of shares for one project? I've asked myself that question, and I have asked many that question. I have not asked Skipper. I have no access to the management there. But what is the rationale for Skipper to recommend so many shares on one project? I would like to know. But the pivotal role played by Skipper has been lost in all this politics, because Skipper has a role to play. And Skipper is the one or the agency that takes these matters to the cabinet, my straight dog family. Skipper takes these submissions to the cabinet, makes the recommendations on all, underline, my straight dog family, all the projects on the CBI. They start with Skipper. Believe it or not, they start with Skipper, my straight dog family. But Skipper, for some reason, is not included in discussion. And I, like I said, would like to know, why would Skipper have recommended that amount of shares on this one project? That's the question that needs to be answered. A Skipper, as I said, is important all the time.
We have seen many persons who have shown interest, persons from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Africa, Nigeria, Syria, several countries, and many of them have shown their interest in becoming citizens in our country, where we offer citizenship by two forms, one by way of real estate and the other by way of donation in the country. As a government agency, we're responsible for approving all the projects for the citizenship by investment. And
so yes, Skipper is responsible, not really for approving, for recommending, I would say, because the cabinet has the final approval. But all the projects come through Skipper. And I ask myself, why is not Skipper included here? But in time we will find out, my Straight Dog family. But it was embarrassing to see the Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkin. Garth Lucifer Wilkin is the kingpin in all these issues. And I recall it was embarrassing to see the Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, sit before a judge and got humiliated in a court of law by King's Counsel Foster from St. Lucia. The Attorney General claimed, my Straight Dog family, that he is a lawyer and not a politician. He said this, my Straight Dog family.
I'm not a politician. I'm a lawyer. And I want us as a nation to be mature. We're 40 years in this business almost. We want to have mature legislature. We want to debate when things need to be debated. And we want to debate based on substance.
But my Straight Dog family, what do you expect? There are lawyers and there are lawyers. Imagine an Attorney General broke the law and committed a crime. And I wonder if he is still paying his contributions in advance, my Straight Dog family. Because he said this.
I voluntarily paid all of my...
I wonder, my Straight Dog.
Everyone should pay them on time. I encourage people to pay them on time. And now I pay them in advance. Right? And I encourage people either to pay them on time or pay them in advance.
But is he really paying her contributions in advance? Or he's paying his contributions in arrears? Or is he paying her contributions at all? My Straight Dog family. I wonder if the Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, took heed to this advice he got from King's Counsel Peter Foster, my Straight Dog family.
Maybe Mr. Wilkins should be disclosing what's happened. Maybe Mr. Wilkins should disclose that he had failed to pay Social Security benefits for 15 months on one occasion, on another occasion for 5 months, and another one for about three or 4 months. And all of that is contrary to the law. And it is not a simple matter of just saying, oh, you just pay the fines. Because what you expose yourself to there is criminal action. And isn't this something that should be told to everybody? That if you do not pay your Social Security benefits, you are liable to be prosecuted. You hold yourself up for that possibility.
And yes, he should have been prosecuted. But I am concerned right now, my Straight Dog family, that this Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, who is by virtue of his position the chief legal advisor to Prime Minister July in this lawsuit. And we ask the question, is Garth Lucifer Wilkin complicit as in the RICO lawsuit? His WhatsApp messages to Dwyer Astafan were used or are being used as evidence by the international fraudster, my straight talk family, Philippe Martinez. The international fraudster spoke about his WhatsApp messages, my straight talk family.
You have seen the WhatsApp messages of the Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis in the lawsuit. That's not me writing that. That is the Attorney General calling the scheme a good scam, saying that they were selling at $75,000. The legal price is $175,000, $100,000 less. This is not even a scam. This is the biggest heist that took place on the people of the Caribbean with their passport money.
But my straight talk family, the international frauds, I should say, Philippe Martinez, has also declared to the world that Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan is his advisor. And we ask the question, is the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin conflicted as the law firm, my straight talk family, where he worked with his father, Charles Wilkin, my straight talk family? Most of his life, he worked there with his father. But that law firm, my straight talk family, is representing Philippe Martinez in the lawsuit against Prime Minister Dr. July. He worked with his law firm, my straight talk family, all his life. So is he conflicted? Is a question we ask. We also ask, my straight talk family, is it sheer coincidence that the lawyer representing the international fraudster Philippe Martinez is King's Counsel Damien Kelsey, who is the nephew, my straight talk family, of Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan, who, as I mentioned earlier, is an advisor to the international fraudster Philippe Martinez. So is it coincidence that the lawyer is his nephew, my straight talk family? And these are fair questions, I believe. If Philippe Martinez came to St. Kitts Nevis a broke man, or I must say, yes, the international fraudster Philippe Martinez came to St. Kitts Nevis a broke man. And remember that his upkeep, my straight talk family, his upkeep in Nevis was subsidized by the Treasury in Nevis for over 2 years, my straight talk family, at the cost of $400,000 per month, my straight talk family. That's no secret. Not at all.
We have made it clear that yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000, if memory serves, 150,000 US dollars, that the NIA contributes. Remember, this was in the height of COVID, for 2 years now almost. So MSR continues to be a solid partner for us.
Yes, that's how he was subsidized. Developed a partnership, my straight talk family. However, because of his known character, Philippe Martinez has been unable to sell any of the 600 units approved by Dr. July as the sole benefactor under the public benefit option. And what is the public benefit option, you may ask? The public benefit option is explained by the current CEO of the CIU, Michael Martin.
The public benefit option replaces the alternative investment option, or AIO. Under the public benefit option, an approved public benefactor who has submitted an investment proposal to the Board of Governors can become a part of the Citizenship by Investment program by offering public benefit units that would be available as options to individual applicants for citizenship by investment.
And my straight talk family, 600 units at $200,000 per unit up share. And maths is my strongest weak point, so forgive me if I get this wrong. But that, I believe, amounts to $120 million. $120 million for this fraudster. But the international fraudster, as I said before, is even more likely desperate, as he's been sued for $760,000. Yes, we always provide the evidence. $760,000 by one of his employees for breach of contract. My straight dog family, look carefully. My straight dog family, and carefully consider the fact this international fraudster has no money, and his objective is to get an out-of-court settlement. My straight dog family, the Attorney General cannot seriously advise the Prime Minister, Dr. July, to complete the claim form. But this international fraudster, as I said, my straight dog family, he doesn't want to go to court. He's looking for an out-of-court settlement, my straight dog family. And we were warned by one of the defendants and former Prime Minister, our second Prime Minister, who warned us, my straight dog family, about those even in his own cabinet. He said this.
The point I want to make, Madam Speaker, is that we cannot allow persons for their own personal ambitions and gains, persons who might have become bankrupt, persons who are still having problems with this government and persons in this government, to take out and empty their claw on us here in this country with regard to the Citizenship by Investment program. Because some people are bent on destroying the program. And we shall not allow that to happen here in this country at all. We don't care who it is, where they come from, what has been their track record. You can't say that you want to sue a country and get, in compensation from the sue, over $1 trillion as compensation. And that is what is happening around us today, Madam Speaker.
And my straight dog family, the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin cannot seriously advise the Prime Minister, July, to complete the claim form and list the names in the 21,000 certificates of registration he signed with the view to cancel them. Dr. July claimed he's not being sued. He said this, my Straight Talk family.
Nobody can implicate me in anything. I know there is a part of it that talk about a judicial review, that those who would have gotten citizenship under the prison project, that they should be revoked. We introduced criminalization for anybody who would have undersold or who would have, misrepresented the true cost of our citizenship by investment. So we did not wait on anybody to do that. That is why we know we are ahead of the game. Nobody should be able to take any government to court for good governance. You should have good governance from the beginning. And
my Straight Talk family, belatedly, July said he was set up. And he spoke to the passports, my Straight Talk family.
Passport? Irresponsible, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I said that in 2020 to 2023, as a result of 5,500 CBI units issued for the prison project, I am informed that 166 passports have been issued to citizens by investment in the last 2 years, Madam Speaker. Set up the government. Set up the government with this, Madam Speaker. I repeat, because of the prison project. Madam Speaker, the number goes up more. I don't just get to the final number, Madam Speaker. Because each time I look at this number, all sorts of things bubble up in me, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, imagine on the previous Nevis Labour Party's watch, with the then CBI investment option over a span of 7 years between 2008 and 2015, 10,000 passports. But under the member for number 7's watch, on the Team Unity's watch, with their CBI investment options, 42,979 passports were issued. Madam Speaker, I think that is about the population of St. Kitts. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I can say we are over 50,000 of passports issued. The number of passports issued is possibly as much as the population at this particular time, or could be a little higher. You have to tell the truth. The people deserve to know the truth. It is a hard truth, but it is the truth.
Could you, Dr. July, ever tell the truth, my Straight Talk family? Because he said he was set up. But how could Dr. July be set up when weeks after becoming Prime Minister, July took the owner of Caribbean Galaxy as part of his official delegation to the United Nations General Assembly? Look at her there, my Straight Talk family. He took her. Contrary to what many of you may be thinking, the only person who has the authority or who can authorize the list of delegates to the high-level meeting at the United Nations General Assembly is the Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Michael July, as the head of government. He had to sign all the forms that are sent to the United Nations for security clearance. July was wined and dined in New York by this developer. And when he returned to St. Kitts, it was business as usual. And he signed, we now know, thousands of certificates of registration. As a matter of fact, investors were told to resubmit their applications. There's one local developer, my Straight Dog family, who had already sold shares at the full price. Yet he was told to reapply, which was done. That investor, a local, my Straight Dog family, a local, that investor is still awaiting for approval. And he posted this on his Facebook page, my Straight Dog family. That investor is still awaiting that project, or that reapproval, stamp of reapproval, I should say. I make that point, my Straight Dog family. I made that point because no one had a gun to Dr. July's head to force him to sign 21,000 certificates of registration. No one. So how could he be set up? Then just like the solar farm project, for $81 million, he claimed was bad and instructed the review of the signed PPA, the power purchase agreement, that Skellig signed, and that his special advisor Edinburgh confessed was a good project. Yes, he confessed this, my Straight Dog family.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel that it was properly assessed and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
And my Straight Dog family, as we speak, that project is still in limbo. And now Dr. July is forced to rent generators, when by now the solar farm project would have been providing 16 megawatts of electricity to the Skellig power plant at Nevis, and almost all the energy or the power that is needed during the peak hour period. So why couldn't July review the prison project likewise to make certain that it conformed with the laws of the country? No flimsy excuse about being set up will help the sitting Prime Minister to maintain his position much longer without facing more political pressure and potential electoral defeat. July may be thinking that Martinez is helping him to save the CBI. But July sees an opportunity to eliminate Denzel Douglas and Timothy Harris. But he's making a fundamental mistake, beg your pardon, in that his government will collapse if he tries to eliminate Denzel Douglas. And he would not be left standing as no Prime Minister in St. Kitts Nevis ever did. July is emboldened in his lies that it has become part of his psyche, it seems. His Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkins said that the project under the microscope for the past 2 years is a scam. So how can July and Garth Lucifer Wilkins defend this scam? In opposition, July referred to the prison project as a fraud. But when he got into government, it was business as usual. And he signed over 20,000 passports for this project alone, we are told, and saying he was set up. So how many passports have you signed since taking office, Dr. July? That's a question we've been asking for the last 2 years. Douglas, you said, signed 10,000 in 4 years. Harris, you claim, signed 32,000 in 7 years. But it seems as though, Dr. July, you have set a new record. Dr. Terence Michael July, you have set a record of over 21,000 passports in just over 1 year. As I said before, Dr. July, you are an enemy to the state. What you are doing to this country is scandalous, to be modest. Remember what happened to our first Prime Minister, Kennedy Simmons? Remember what happened to our second Prime Minister, Denzel Douglas? And you must remember what happened to our third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris. You are next in line, Dr. July. So prepare yourself, as in times like these in St. Kitts Nevis, when economic and social issues are affecting political stability, prime ministers facing significant economic challenges that will soon lead to social unrest will find it difficult to maintain their positions. The ability to effectively address these issues is crucial for political survival, and failure to do so will lead to electoral defeat. The Citizenship by Investment program in St. Kitts and Nevis is at a crossroads. It's facing a multitude of challenges that require careful management and strategic planning. Addressing these issues is crucial for maintaining the program's viability and ensuring that it continues to benefit the nation's economy without compromising its integrity or international standing. As I said before, Dr. July, prepare yourself because you are next. As in these perilous times in St. Kitts Nevis, no PM was ever left standing. I repeat, in perilous times like these in St. Kitts Nevis, Dr. July, no prime minister was ever left standing. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails, my Straight Talk family. And when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And my Straight Talk family, in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines. It's 9:24, my Straight Talk family. Say good night. Yes, ma'am.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night, the Bible man. You are early tonight.
Lord help.
Yes.
Lord help.
What's on your mind?
Wow. But oh, give thanks unto the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
Mercies endureth.
For his mercy endureth forever.
That is so true, my brother.
He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, who he had redeemed from the hands of the enemy.
Yes.
Psalm 46, Psalm 41, and verse 1. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
Yes. He shall.
Considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue in my mouth. Patrick, I am going to read in Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 22.
Please.
Here I said here about it. It is the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed, because his compassion faileth not. Verse 23. For they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. I think It is God mercy that the word of God say here, that we are not consumed. No man mercy, it is God mercy. And who believe to themselves, they're bigger than God. God is going to intervene and man is going to buy.
Okay.
The word of God said, hear your passage. This is the last thing I'm going to tell you.
Please.
God won a city. God won a city before he destroyed it.
Okay.
He sent Jonah to Nineveh to warn the people of Nineveh.
Okay.
And the people of Nineveh repented, and God did not destroy Nineveh. But I am saying tonight, there are cities that God won, and they did not hear.
Okay.
And they got destroyed.
Okay.
But good night. I'm not taking no more time I want. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for your spiritual intervention each time coming from the Bible man, and perhaps a nice tone I wish to start our calling program tonight. And I go back to the lines at 9:28. Call you live.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd.
Good evening, my dear.
The quote for this evening: power doesn't corrupt. People are corrupt. When they get empowered, it becomes apparent. I repeat, power doesn't corrupt. People are corrupt. When they get empowered, it becomes apparent. Have a good evening.
Thank you, my dear. Power doesn't corrupt. When they get in, people are corrupt. So when they get in power, then it becomes apparent. I said apparent, but when they get into power, then it becomes apparent. Thanks for the quotation, my dear lady. I don't know where you're calling from, but we do get these quotations every program, and I do look forward to them, and I want to thank you. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Yeah. Good evening, Patrice.
How are you, my brother?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Now, Patrice, there are so many things to talk about tonight that
is so true.
I'm going to just try and boil it off or two. Now, Patrice, if somebody going to set you up to catch you, they're supposed to catch you with the first trap they set, not the second trap. And you allow yourself to get set up with 21,000 signing of certificate for passport.
Yes, 21,000, yes.
How they gonna work, Patrice? No wonder King Lawyer could not give the amount of passport certificate he signed since he in there. Not yet 2 years. Just a year, maybe 4 months short of it. That's why he couldn't give it. Because he criticized the citizenship by investment program before he get in there. And when he get in there, he bypass all of them with speed. 21,000 signature. Come on, boy, come on. And let me tell you this. Those countries, the names of those countries that you called out tonight, who have our passports, we know the mentality of them country people up there. We know the mentality of them. When they decide they're going to do something, nothing stop them. They don't think about no God alive, no nothing. They're going to do what they intend to do. And we all know when you have a dog, a full-grown adult dog, and you put down the food in front of it in its bowl, and he got the head in the bowl and he start to eat, and you go take up the bowl before he don't eat, he gonna bite you. Mm-hmm. He gonna mash you up. Even a full-grown hog bite up his owner for the same reason. So when he decide he gonna recall passport and take back, then we gonna know how bad he go. If you think them people up the plane, like think it's people who afraid to hit the street with demonstration and protest, with his behavior, his Mickey Mouse behavior, running in Mickey Mouse government. Every minute they gone away. Every minute 5 of them gone. And who he leave to run the country? Who he be? His smartphone? No. Think his people need to wake up and do like those people up in the Middle East. Middle East, how they behave, they ain't standing for no nonsense. When you violate their rights, they hit the streets. But what we do here in Think we talk about people wherever we go. We talk about people that we don't know. We can talk too much. I'll come back with it. Thank you for helping me.
Thank you very much, Tess. My Straight Talk family, let's be serious. How could Dr. July come to the country with some flimsy excuse about being set up? When weeks after becoming Prime Minister, he took the same investor, he took the owner of Caribbean Galaxy to New York as part of his official delegation. Only the Prime Minister can approve the delegation that goes to the United Nations. Only that Prime Minister, the head of government, even if he's not traveling with the delegation, he has to approve the delegation as head of the government. So this flimsy excuse about he was set up is nothing but that. Flimsy. Because my Straight Talk family, he had asked investors to reapply. Investors reapplied. But he was wined and dined in New York by this developer. And he's playing these games with the fraudster as well. Because last week, when he went to Washington, we understand from a reliable source that he went to speak to the lawyers of Martinez in Washington. But Dr. July has to be careful. He's like, there's a term they used to use, what it called, tobacco bill. There's a term they used to use, I can't remember it. But July can't come to us and settle this matter out of the court. He can't. July can't cancel people's passports that he signed. And he did not sign them under duress. He signed them. Remember, Astafan told him before he went into office that he has to change the project to housing. He then came back and said he just couldn't switch the project, was his words. Couldn't switch the project, was his words. But he knew why. Because he was playing on both sides of the fence. Playing with the investor and still playing with the criminal, with the fraudster. And the fraudster has threatened them that they are all on tape. They're all being recorded. So they're frightened. They're all frightened. The Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, remember, started communicating with Dwyer Astafan. Look at it there. And isn't it strange, my Straight Dog family, that Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan screenshot his messages, his WhatsApp messages, and sent them to the fraudster. The fraudster has said it's there in the document. He is an advisor. Dwyer Astafan is an advisor of the fraudster. My straight dog family, it is not done. Terrible times are ahead. But July, as Prime Minister, you would not be left standing. Never. Prime Ministers fall from grace in times like these. Let's see what's happening with my emails while I'm talking here, my straight dog family. I forgot my emails. But the lines are open, my straight dog family. And if you've just joined me, we are discussing tonight our thesis. No Prime Minister was ever left standing. No Prime Minister, we can add in St. Kitts and Nevis, was ever left standing. Mr. Liburd reads this email. Excuse me. Yesterday I had a smile and said to myself, some people are really stupid and forgetful. Sam Conduct called into ZIZ at 11 o'clock, or ZIZ's 11 o'clock talk morning show, or morning talk show, and berated Mrs. Henry because she gave her perspective on the numerous gifts the first selected West Indies Kittian player received from government, in comparison to absolutely nothing the 7 Division West Indies players got. Sam told Mrs. Henry that is her government got us in this confused state because of the constitution her government gave there's a word missing here, but gave that they did not want. Sam really demonstrated his stupidity because he was Deputy Prime Minister for 20 years, just less than that, and had all parliamentary seats in the House at one time to amend the Constitution, and he did absolutely nothing to change the Constitution. So what foolishness is he talking now, blaming Mrs. Henry for the Constitution, all because Mrs. Henry asks why not incorporate the 7 Division West Indies players now and reward them monetarily as one federation. Mrs. Henry, we in Nevis fully agree with you. Thanks. Reads this email. This other email reads, I would like to address the new leader of PAM, Mrs. Natasha Brooks-Gray. First, congratulate you on your elevation to the leadership in PAM. However, my first and preferred choice was Carleen Morton, a woman of strong character, aggressive, strident, and a belligerent fighter. This is the type of leadership PAM needs to fight your opponent on the other side. Natasha, you can't be friends with your opponent Jeffrey and running against him. That is why I did not vote for you in the first place last election. I voted for Jackie instead. Or when I see you and Jeffrey sitting under the tent along Keon Street, joking, laughing, giggling, and eating black pudding, I said, no, Natasha, can't be serious. And when I attend PAM political meetings, you never once criticize Jeffrey to tell us he is not fit to be elected and give reasons. But there were many untoward cases you could have cited, especially when he was in charge of the PEP program. And now again, you're still not serious. For when you are saying you're not thinking about joining with any other party to form a government because you are going to win all the constituencies to form the government on your own. Mrs. Natasha, please don't take us for fools. This is no time to be joking around. These are serious times. Therefore, your plea asking me and others to come back home to PAM has fallen on deaf ears. Get serious. Read this email. The greedy money hawk premier has given himself another big increase on his salary, while he increases heavy and unbearable taxes on divisions. How much more money this man wants in these hard times? Divisions, wake up and vote this man out of office before it is too late. Reads this other email. This email reads, I would like to agree with that emailer who wrote about Mrs. Henry and the back and forth argument she had with the two rude and disrespectful hosts on ZIZ yesterday morning. They are Jew media bodyguards and will lie and send their soul to hell in defending Jew with his lies and wrongdoing, just to secure the jobs Jew pitied them with. Bearing in mind they were not gainfully employed before and the odd jobs they were doing couldn't sustain them. Now that they were handpicked and given the job, they're behaving on the radio like Frightened Friday. Mrs. Henry, continue to make your voice heard. For while you're talking sense, some of these two media puppy shows are talking pure rubbish. Reads this other email. Anytime Dr. Harris makes a public statement, Dr. July runs out to the media in an effort to do some damage control. The thing is, he has his biased people in the media who will always accommodate and defend his unjustified actions because they are benefiting from him with jobs and some sort of payment. Drew was on his usual one-sided political radio station a few days ago, hedging and dodging the questions and failed to answer them directly. He was asked about Dr. Douglas in his cabinet, who is embroiled in the Ministerial case. What is he doing about it in terms of him withdrawing himself from cabinet and active government duties? You failed to answer the question. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yes, I'm live on the show.
Yes, you're live, sir.
I want you to tell Dr. July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of poor people in Sink is living after the PAC program. And he take me off of the PAC program. He take me girlfriend off of the PAC program. I work in a way, work in a way. You ain't gonna win no more seats in Sink. You're gonna have to go back and go for him at the doctor office where he shut down and try to get back he appointment them. Thank you, good night.
Are you there? Are you there, caller?
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When they took you off the program?
I get an email and they say I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified for the money.
That's just recently?
Yes, recently. Yes, recently. I mean, go get an email to tell Dr. July, right? He need to go set back up the appointments them.
Okay. Well, sorry to hear, my brother, but he didn't have much appointments, we're told nonetheless, but it's better for us if he does that, my straight dog family. The Social Security press conference was a sham and a scam. Reads this email. Good evening, Patches. I listened to the Social Security press conference yesterday. It was just the same old talk, and more talk and no action. The only thing that is happening at Social Security since the government changed is the hiring of several big labor supporters compensated with huge salaries. Patches, if the institution is trying to cut costs and to implement the reform program, why should a new CEO who was handpicked by Jew from constituency 8, no interview, no vetting, buy a new brand Jeep costing over $300,000 out of our hard working money? Perhaps the public needs to know that the director is now raking in almost $30,000 for salary per month, plus allowances. These people are not serious, and if they think they can touch people's hard-earned pension, it will be trouble in this country. I am calling on the people of this country to keep your eyes open and watch your pension, because with the rate Jew and his crew are running down Social Security, many of you will reach 65 and can't get any pension. Reads this email. Good night, listening audience. I have a question here off topic. I was at work today when I witnessed a bailiff throwing a summons on the floor because the person who it's intended for didn't take it because the name on the summons was incorrect. Well, the bailiff followed the guy around on his job and went on to even get the individual fired. This is the kind of unprofessionalism we have to deal with when it comes to these uneducated bailiffs. Perhaps if the name is wrong on the summons, everybody knows not to take it. But the bailiff and the police officer insisted to take it and go courts to fight it. I've never heard such. Reads this email. The client told the bailiff, get the name right and bring back the summons. Well, it seems the bailiff was getting heated. I have learned tonight the client lost his job, but the bailiff still has a job. These things are wrong, and the bailiffs need training. More can be said, but let's wait. Read this other email. Patches, good night. From when a civil servant, namely a permanent secretary, get time to be a deputy chair of the Social Security Board? What time does this person have to dedicate to one of the most, if not the most, significant posts in the country? Mr. Curtis Martin, the only known permanent secretary without a degree in this country, continues to be a figurehead and a rubber stamp at the Ministry of Health. Since replacing the last PS, Dr. Sharon Archibald, a month ago, he has victimized known decent senior public servants using lies and his political agenda and vendetta to justify his actions. When this Labour government destroys our health system by putting in political mercenaries in these positions, they are destroying us, the citizens. Curtis Martin do not know a thing about health. He knows how to use creative ways to make money and enrich himself through his friends. I am calling on persons like Sam Condor and Dwyer Astafan, who see how Curtis Martin was willing to destroy our parliament, to call for his removal now. Sam and Dwyer feel like they know the most about public servants' transparency and accountability, and must therefore put a stop to corruption at the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health is the worst run ministry right now, with Curtis Martin, the political mercenary, Randall Bradshaw the hog, who is harassing the nurses, walking pain, playing the matron, Director Maynard, the special ed student who did everything wrong at the Treasury, and Jensen Morton, the fake Facebook pager. They are promoted based on friends and hiring incompetent, retired, tired, hard-head workers in positions that they are not qualified for. Patches, everyday things are getting worse at the hospital because there's no capable administration at the Ministry of Health. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Thank you for holding.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm here again. Now, Patrick, you remember some years ago, there was a big cry coming out from Nevis, and even some of the cries were here in St. Kitts about some parliamentarian were getting two pay, one from Nevis and one from the federal office down here. I don't remember who the parliamentarian was, but that is the same thing now happening with the snake from Nevis. He don't get the big ways up down here for our parliament, and then look what he do to the people of Nevis. According to the Prime Minister in Antigua, He poop in the people of Nevis' face. And Nevis have some projects up there unfinished. Why he don't use the money to finish the project them for the people in Nevis? He taking the people of Nevis down the road as though they are fools. I am asking the people of Nevis, you have your opportunity just like down here. Stand up for your rights and put a stop into that, because he don't care. He and all of them down here, they don't care. All the concern about is to fill up the long pocket that start from the ankle right up to the shoulder. Full it up with things what they rape from the treasury. That is their intention. Every time they go in, they leave the island. We know the porks what they get in for there in US. That's why all of them want to go away. And all you say again, and I'm gonna say it over and over: people who do not walk do not go in the line for payment. Because if you go in the line for payment and you commit fraud on your the signing of your pay sheet, you have to pay. You should pay back that money. And down here now, when bottle and stone were thrown after Dr. Simon's administration, and then 1995, we see the turnaround of the election, the result. And the German Shepherd, is after that he get the job. And why he don't criticize that? That was what you call political overthrown for he to get the job. So he ain't gonna criticize that, but he gonna walk and criticize all kind of things. Why ain't concerned he and things were going right. But just because he do not like the third prime minister, he finding all kind of things to dig up. Why don't you criticize the 54 million down Cranston, which cane field and grass was fenced up with a lower the tinning? Criticize that because somebody's signature was signed, but he can't remember. But he could remember things from way back before 1967 and all kind of thing. You see how hypocritical some people be? That is the reason why God, when God comes down, God ain't want nobody to tell him, oh, me is the Godfather, so don't punish him. No, God gonna deal with all of us because he going on like he's the only perfect man ever exists on this planet Earth after Jesus. Hypocrite. He and Kunumuno and all of them, bunch of hypocrites. But I got lyrics put together for them, man. Lyrics. I just waiting for somebody with a keyboard to come and back me up, and then you run get them patches. That is all more. Let somebody is coming. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Culture. Patches, everybody in St. Kitts is trying to make $1 from the poor man. The cable, the electricity department, port, the Labour government, and Philippe Martinez. Patches, let us not turn a blind eye to the snake in Nevis. He too knows what is going on. He was the driving force behind all this intentional scam. Mark Brantley should be considered going to jail. His hands are not clean. The Labour government let the snake in Nevis outsmart them. I cannot believe the people in St. Kitts voted for Jew because he's a good guy. See what and where the good guy have in St. Kitts. Patches, what the man knows about running a country? Absolutely nothing. Then they want Timothy to fix it next election. By then St. Kitts wouldn't belong to St. Kitts. The Labour cabinet needs to step down, or we need to force them out, reads this email. July, how many passports you sold? Or should I say how much? Because they cannot be counted for. For July trying to make himself look good by telling lies as always. The only person set up July is Mark Brantley, Astafan, Lucifer, and the others who say they are in Labour corner and wants the best for this country. A bunch of liars in the government. I believe July is going to disappear and not come back, reads this email. Patches, the phrase is two back bill. Got that? That's what Straight Talk is all about, my Straight Talk family. The two back bill. It's 9:56, my Straight Talk family. You may have joined me for the first time. If that is so, then I must inform you that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. So we are winding down. And each program we have a thesis or a short dissertation, a way to highlight particular issues. And the issue we attempted to highlight tonight was titled, No Prime Minister was ever left standing. And I made the point that there are many lessons as I wind down tonight's programming. There are many lessons to be learned from history. But too many of us in St. Kitts Nevis take everything for granted. Many leaders take the risk to make uninformed judgments and decisions about current events, all because they ignore historical knowledge. When we look at what is happening in our country right now, and heading past to 2 years, yet Dr. July has failed to underscore the importance of learning from history's mistakes, and will be well advised to become familiar with the famous adage to wit, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And in the political history of St. Kitts Nevis, there is a striking feature in that no prime minister has ever been left standing in office after a fallout between key members of his cabinet of ministers. And every prime minister who has held office in this country has been subject to electoral defeat because of certain political circumstances. And this unique aspect of the political landscape of St. Kitts Nevis highlights the dynamic and often unpredictable nature of our political environment. And the political past in St. Kitts Nevis is well documented. And our current leader would be better served if he just took some time to examine the tenure of the prime ministership since the independence 40 years ago, from Kennedy Simmons in 1983 to his predecessor in 2022. And once he would have examined the political history, he would glean from same that no prime minister was ever left standing. And my Straight Talk family, I outlined the scenarios. And as we wind down, in conclusion, we also look at the current situation in this country, where we are challenged. There's so many challenges, my Straight Talk family. Food crisis, of cost of food, cost of living, cost of everything. And our country's leader has no solution. Social assistance that's needed is being taken away. You heard that caller earlier about receiving an email and kicking him and his girlfriend off of PAP. How does some people know what that $500 meant to these poor people? When you hear that young senator, Philip, who I always say seemed to have been baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the International Monetary Fund, You wonder, where is she living, my Straight Talk family? But these 2 years under this July administration, the current political scene in St. Kitts and Nevis is highly explosive. This administration is like an active volcano just waiting for a political explosion, my Straight Talk family. Emotions are running high. And the situation in which we find ourselves is one in which strong feelings are loudly expressed by the thousands who have been kicked off of PAP, the thousands who can't find shelter, who cannot find a home. Although 2,400 houses were to be built according to the slow student and minister with responsible for housing, Jeffrey Hanley. But right now, my Straight Talk family, the good name of St. Kitts and Nevis is being dragged in the mud of corruption all over the world. But those in influential positions don't seem to care about the outcome of this saga with this international fraudster called Philippe Martinez. What will be the outcome that the St. Kitts, Nevis and Guyana National Bank will have to face as a result of the RICO lawsuit, my Straight Talk family? These are pertinent questions that ought to be answered, my Straight Talk family. Specific to the National Bank, a RICO lawsuit against this institution could result in substantial financial damages, legal and regulatory consequences, and significant reputational harm, among other potential outcomes. My Straight Talk family, we understand that the chief legal advisor to the government, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, is thinking about an out-of-court settlement for this fraudster. We've heard the former Prime Minister who said this, my Straight Talk family. And I'm sure we heard him clearly.
The point I want to make, Madam Speaker, is that we cannot allow persons for their own personal ambitions and gains, persons who might have become bankrupt, persons who are still having problems with this government and persons in this government, to take out and empty their claw on us here in this country with regard to the citizenship by investment program. Because some people are bent on destroying the program. And we shall not allow that to happen here in this country at all. We don't care who it is, where they come from, what has been their track record. You can't say that you want to sue a country and get in compensation from the sue over $1 trillion as compensation. And that is what is happening around us today, Madam Speaker.
But my Straight Talk family, we have, according to the third Prime Minister, an unworthy Attorney General, my Straight Talk family. And we can't take our eyes off of him.
And I wonder what it is this man has over them. That the Attorney General, that unworthy Attorney General, could take And WhatsApp, according to the document, information, false information to Dwyer Stefan, that man, fill in the blanks. And that man sent it to the other man. That is how high officials in government operate, with information, truth or false. We got to begin to ask ourselves.
And we must ask ourselves, my Straight Talk family. And we must be concerned as well that this Attorney General, who is by virtue of his position the chief legal advisor to Prime Minister July and his government or cabinet in this lawsuit, we must ask the question, is Garth Lucifer Wilkin complicit? As in the RICO lawsuit, his WhatsApp messages to Dwyer Astafan are being used as evidence by the international fraudster. So too, the comments of the snake, Mark Brantley, is being used as evidence. The international fraudster Philip Martinez declared to the world that Dwyer Astafan is his advisor. We must also ask, is the Attorney General conflicted as the law firm Kelsick, Wilkin and Ferdinand, where he worked with his father, Charles, for most of his life? But that firm is representing Philippe Martinez in the lawsuit against Prime Minister July. Is it sheer coincidence, my Straight Talk family, that the lawyer representing the international fraudster, Philip Martinez, is Damien Kelsick, the nephew of Gerald Anthony Dwyer Astafan, who, as I mentioned, according to the fraudster, is his advisor? My Straight Talk family, look carefully and carefully consider the fact this international fraudster, Philippe Martinez, has no money, my Straight Talk family, and his objective is to get an out-of-court settlement. Even his own employee has filed a claim in the court for $760,000, my Straight Talk family. It's on your monitors. The claimant, Don Lockman of Beacon Heights, claims against the defendant, MSR Media SKN Limited, with registered offices at number 3 Wigley Avenue, Bastille, in the island of St. Christopher. And the claimant claims against the defendant, my Straight Dog family. Look at Section B. As order that the defendant to pay the claimant the sum of $109,584 or EC $795,000, representing unpaid wages for the media for the months of November, to April 2024. So, Philippe Martinez is broke. He came here broke. He was subsidized by the Nevis Island administration to almost $12 million over 2 years. Yet for 7 years, the snake Mark Brantley cannot complete a wing at the hospital, Alexandra Hospital, there in Charlestown. where he paid $12 million to this fraudster. My Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight, July said he's not implicated.
Nobody can implicate me in anything. I know there is a part of it that talk about a judicial review, that those who would have gotten citizenship under the prison project, that they should be revoked. We introduce criminalization for anybody who would have undersold or who would have, misrepresented the true cost of our citizenship by investors. So we did not wait on anybody to do that. That is why we know we are ahead of the game. Nobody should be able to take any government to court for good governance. You should have good governance from the beginning.
But he's before the court, my Straight Talk family. He said he was set up. When weeks after becoming Prime Minister, July took the owner of Caribbean Galaxy to New York as part of his UNGA delegation. He was wined and dined in New York by this developer. And when he returned to St. Kitts, it was business as usual. And he signed, we now know, thousands of certificates of registration. And then he claimed he was set up. I made the point because no one had a gun to Dr. July's head to force him to sign 21,000 certificates of registration. So how could he be set up? He asked even the locals to reapply. And this local at Fairway, I think that's the project's name, my Straight Talk family. This local posted this, my Straight Talk family. And he has reapplied, but hasn't gotten his project on the go, my Straight Talk family. Look at that. You've called me pretty late, and I'm out of time. But I'll give you 20 seconds. I'm serious of that. I'll get you to 30. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Practice. Good evening, man. How are you, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I just wanted to ask you a question before you get off. Is all the capital projects now on hold? Because with this MSR saga that's going on, this administration is going to be engulfed with this stuff for a while, right up until from now, straight up until the case. Mm-hmm. So, if you have any information to that, maybe you can bring it back next time. That's my observation. My observation is that this administration now is going to be engulfed with this MSR situation right up to the case. So, this thing is going to affect all the rollout of the capital projects. This year's already half. We ain't seen those projects moving yet. So that's what I want to say tonight. And I wish the people the best going forward, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Very interesting observation. And as we wrap tonight's programming, my Straight Talk family, I must make the final point. And I'll make the final point I was going to make. And ask ourselves the question, why couldn't July review the prison project as he did the other projects to make certain that it conformed with the laws of the country? No flimsy excuse about being set up will help the sitting Prime Minister to maintain his position much longer without facing more political pressure and potential defeat, electoral defeat, that is, my Straight Talk family. And just like the third Prime Minister said at his convention that he would come with a press conference, my Straight Talk family. And he did. But my Straight Talk family, Jew met with the fraudster On more than one occasion, it's in the document. And the fraudster has said he's got all of them taped. So he must be scared, my straight talk family. He must be scared.
To spite me, and I am innocent. They are allowing that foreigner with a checkered past, an ex-convict. And you know, boys, they are really little boys. Because they said they don't want to do nothing with the peace program. Peace program, a criminal. But tell me, how do you describe a fraudster? In the first week of his government, he met with the man, according to the man's statement. He had, in the first week, when you're trying to put a government together, the man had access to them there. And the man has a lot of them tape. That is why they have to be at his beck and call. And in the fullness of time, we will know. But they are mashing up National Bank, putting it under additional scrutiny with its correspondent banking relationship. They are mashing up Denzel Douglas, because how could Denzel Douglas go out to represent the country when your government is siding with the fraudster in his suit against you? How can he look people in their face and say he representing the administration? The man not only went after National Bank and Douglas and Harris, he went after Farrell Lawrence. He went after a company called Carib Trust. So everybody in initial documents, he went after Sylvester Anthony. He said Sylvester Anthony was an advisor of Douglas. So you could see the scheme. You want, as it were, to deal with his political threats within and without. But God not sleeping. You shall have your own recompense. God is not sleeping.
And yes, my straight dog family, Jew is emboldened in his lies. That has become an integral part of his psyche. His Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkins said that the project under the microscope for the past 2 years is a scam. So how can July and Garth Lucifer Wilkins defend this scam? In opposition, July referred to the prison project as a fraud. But when he got into government, it was business as usual. And he signed over 20,000 passports for this project alone. So how many passports have you signed since taking office July? You must answer that question. Douglas, you said signed 10,000 passports in 4 years. Harris, you said signed 32,000 in 7 years. But it seems as though you have set a new record, Dr. Terence Michael July, as you have signed over 21,000 passports in just over 1 year. As I said before, Dr. July, you are an enemy to the state, if that information is correct. What you are doing to this country is scandalous. You must remember what happened, as I said, to the prime ministers before you, and not one was left standing. You are next in line, Dr. Joe. So prepare yourself, as in times like these in St. Kitts Nevis, when economic and social issues are affecting political stability, prime ministers facing significant economic challenges are exposed to possibly social unrest, and will find it difficult to maintain their positions. The ability to effectively address these issues is crucial for political survival, and failure to do so will lead to electoral defeat. The Citizenship by Investment program in St. Kitts and Nevis is at a crossroads, facing a multitude of challenges and require careful management and strategic planning. Addressing these issues is crucial for maintaining the program's viability and ensuring that it continues to benefit the nation's economy without compromising its integrity or international standing. As I said earlier, Dr. July, prepare yourself, because you are next, as in perilous times like these in St. Kitts Nevis, no Prime Minister was ever left standing. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I'm going to thank all of you who listen, those of you who sent emails, and those who call. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's spare, we will connect on Monday for our next edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. My Straight Talk family, have some rest. Go to church. Praise your Lord. Do your chores. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on until we connect on Monday. Bye-bye. And have yourself a wonderful weekend.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep